Hello everyone, it is Rizaldo or Wesley, and today is my first day back making content after Nationals. And I wanted to start with something a little bit more chill, especially because I've done a video like this before for OP13, I believe. I did a little bit of a market watch, and I wanted to do this again, but this is more of a Pre-EB03 post Bandai Card Fest review. Now, I do have a TCG Player affiliate link down below. I would really appreciate it if anything you see in this video that you want to pick up, you use that. I get a little bit of 3.5% kickback, I believe, from that purchase, and it's at no expense to you. So it really helps me out. If you do enjoy this kind of content, please consider giving me a subscription. It really does help out with engagement. Leave a comment with anything you're thinking about picking up, maybe any suggestions you have. But yeah, I'm gonna hop right into the video. I have a ton to cover, and I'm gonna try and make it quick so that I don't waste a ton of your time. I split it up into 3 categories. There's the good prices, the EB03, or it's actually 4 categories, sorry. Good prices, EB03, Bandai Card Fest cards, and the starter deck cards. Now I wanted to show EB03 is going absolutely crazy right now. There are cards selling for $88 it seems that are just SRs. I was fortunate enough to pull a Nami early out of a sleeved blister pack, which was awesome. So I did get that, and I think that's going for a pretty hefty amount right now, but it is all pre-release. So a lot of this is speculation, and I really want to highlight that. So please don't take this as like financial advice or anything, but these are all my opinions and speculations on what the market will do and stuff like that. I'm going to stay away from the actual EB03 cards because I think they're all insanely overpriced right now. Quite literally none of them have reasonable prices. So hopefully they all do fall and you can get your hands on some product or some singles if that's how you're going to go. But I'm going to hop straight into the uncategorized kind of just random cards that I think are good. Starting off with Emu alts. Emu alts are pretty low right now. There are $19 alts. You can see a listing here. It is a little bit of a less reputable seller, but Emu's probably going to be good for the foreseeable future, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you think, because it is just such a all-rounder deck. So picking up the alts for it is a probably pretty good idea, though we do have ban lists coming out soon, and the ban list could really affect how the prices actually shape up. So you might want to wait until after that, but this Saturn and Jupiter are both pretty reasonable. I believe there's some of the lower ones out of the 5 elders, and they not bad prices, especially if you open a lot of OP13. You definitely have a few of the 5 elders already. So if you're looking to get a playset and bling out Emu, it's a totally amazing, beautiful deck to bling out. Check that out. Another card that's on my radar is this Luffy from the College Basketball US Voyage promotion. It's sitting at 160 right now. That is technically 180 because of shipping, and it is another not so reputable seller, but who knows, it could be totally legitimate. I don't want to like call anyone out for not being real. It's not the intention here, but I do think this card will go down. I am planning to pick one up maybe eventually after a few more games. I believe at the time of recording there's like 5, maybe 4 more games left, and I think it's going to drop a little bit more in the foreseeable future. So this is something to look out for if you want to get it. It's not the most amazing card ever, but it looks pretty cool in person, and it is a really sweet promotion that's going on. So definitely keep an eye out for this card, especially if it gets into your price range. This next card is technically supposed to be in the starter deck portion of the video, but it's also a really reasonable price even without the starter deck. It is this dragon who's really good in Sabo. Sabo is speculated and almost confirmed at this point to be getting a starter deck, and at $8 for an alt out of Legacy of the Master, that is a great price to get a playset. That's like $32 rounded up because of tax and shipping to get a playset of a card that's really good in that deck and is a staple of it. So definitely consider getting this dragon if you're looking to play the deck. And on to the next card, I wanted to take a look at some of the SPs. There are some pretty reasonable SPs out there right now. Like this is a $70 SP, and I know in the past there's been like $40 to $50 SPs, but right now in the market $70 seems pretty reasonable for an SP, especially a Weevil, which is a block 2 SP, but it's not going to rotate out anytime soon, and it's pretty playable in certain decks depending on if you're going to look to play it in the Legacy format with Dofi, or maybe even Boa if you're going to go with the 7 Warlords package, or Jinbei maybe. I mean, it's totally possible to run this in Jinbei, but I don't know. I personally wouldn't, but it's a pretty sick art at the same time, so collection purposes, maybe grab it. After that is this Onami. Right now in an MP, just for like a binder or something, it's $16, which is a pretty great price. You can see there are other listings around the $23 to $25, maybe $30 range, but this Nami is really good because it gives a leader or character card banish, and it's pretty playable because of the trigger as well. It might be a yellow staple at some point again. At one point it was really good to just hit out of a trigger to KO a 5 cost or less, and that's a pretty strong trigger honestly, but it's got a nice art. It's Nami, so it's gonna long term probably stay in a pretty good spot and possibly playable in the future, so that's why I included it in this this list. After that is another yellow card, and I'm sure a lot of people are not happy to see this in my good prices list, but Kuma. We know in 14 that yellow gets a ton more support and healing, so Kuma's been kind of dropping off because it's getting replaced with the Porcelino in a lot of decks, but I don't think it's going to be cut entirely, so now might be a great time to pick it up. You might want to wait a week, see if it goes down to 40 or even 35 again, but I wanted to put this on people's radar just in case, especially because yellow is also getting a lot of support in EB03. I wanted to include it as well for that reason. On to our EB03 list though. This Marco is the first card in it. Marco is going to be really good in Nami. I saw a Gecko zombie deck Nami that was like half Thriller Bark, half normal Nami package running this Marco, and this Marco is actually playable off of the 8 cost Gecko trigger, so if you can slot that into life, you can play a ton of these Marcos and draw a ton of cards. Really solid card, and for a card that used to be $20, not a bad price to pick it up. After that is Perona for the same reason as it was played in that Nami list that won nationals in Japan, I believe, and at $35 for a card that used to be $70 or even $50, I believe I picked it up actually at $40, so that felt a little bit rough. It's a pretty good pickup, honestly. If you want the Japanese one, you could probably get it for like $20 on eBay or something. A lot of these cards will be available for less on eBay if you're willing to do some deal hunting and wait a little bit, so that's another way to pick up some cards. But this Perona is played in that Nami list, and I think that list is actually pretty playable without EB04, and if you just slot in the Kuma instead of the Porcelino. But yeah, I wanted to include it here because this is another card that you might want to pick up for EB03. The EB03 list is not actually going to include any EB03 cards, so just a heads up, if that's what you're looking for, I do not want to advise anyone to buy any EB03 right now. I think it's a horrible idea. After that is Sengoku. It's another pretty reasonable SP price at $84 for a highly playable SP in BOA. I think it's a really good grab, and because BOA gets some more support in OP or EB03, this might be worth picking up. It's just going to be more of the 7 Warlords support, so this is going to help you search that out. It's a counter event, and then there's also just the BOA SR, so definitely think about picking it up if you are looking to play BOA. After that is this Zora. Now, technically not part of EB03, but it does come out with EB03 through the Heroine's Treasure Cup or like Cup event, is the Robin promo that protects the board for EB02 Luffy. So EB02 Luffy might be coming back onto the board when that comes out. It'll definitely be a solid card to look out for. So grabbing this Zoro might be something you might be interested in. It is pretty high right now just because it is also played in Mihawk and Red Green Luffy, which are 2 decks that did really good at nationals as well. But if you are looking for it, now might be the time to grab it before EB02 Luffy makes it spike again. And then Yamato, again for the same reason as a lot of the other cards here, because they are used in Nami. Yamato is a great card to draw cards in Nami, and it also turns on your leader ability. It's a great card just to develop a body and draw cards. Typically on Nami you will be at 3 or less life pretty early on the turn where you'll drop the Yamato. In the Wano builds or like the more similar to Ace builds, the Namis will run this. So if you're thinking about it, $21 for near mint seems pretty good in my opinion, especially for an art that looks amazing and is a super iconic scene. I love this scene so much from the anime, so definitely think about checking this out. Next up is Ben Beckman or EB03 Vivi. Now this card is $11 right now, and I think it's a staple in Vivi. I think it's an insanely good card in Vivi. You can see there are a ton of listings around the $11-12 range, and because it just trashes a 6k or less, I think it's an insanely good card, especially when combined with the leader effect, depending on how you use it, or like the 7 cost Nami. Really solid card. I definitely think this is worth picking up if you're looking to alt out Vivi. I actually, right here, it might not show up, is my Ben Beckman that I won during my store championship that got me my Nats invite that I might slot into my Vivi deck just because I'm not selling that card ever. One of my favorites. But that is another Beckman you can pick up, and if you are picking it up, please use my promo code because that'll give me a really nice kickback that'll help pay the bills. But next up, back to Nami again, sorry about that, is this Girl promo. Girl spiked up to 30. It's insane. Definitely wouldn't buy it at this price, but if you are looking to alt out Vivi, the winter promo is sitting around $100, which is only $10 more than when I sold it like a couple weeks ago, and it's just 90 here. So definitely think about picking it up if you're interested in it, because this is like a lot, but the spike that this one hit is a lot less than the spike that this one hit with EB03 coming out. So think about what you want. Maybe you could find the girl locally, buy it off somebody from a locals or something, just because this is a pretty absurd price. But it is definitely a really good card in Nami. I don't know if it's a 4 of. I see a lot of 4 ofs using it, but I think it's probably like a 3 or 2 of in most decks that are going to perform, just because a lot of the Namis don't run 10 costs, or if they do, they do attach on to their leader already. But this girl is a great way to make your deck a little more consistent on Nami and less scary if you're playing on curve. After that is this Nico Robin. Nico Robin is going to be really meta with all these yellow decks becoming more relevant because it trashes your opponent's life rather than adding it to their hand like a lot of other cards do or a lot of other effects are starting to do. Because trashing prevents your opponent from getting the card to their hand, it prevents them from being able to build their tempo with their life. So this is something you might want to think about getting just for like Yellow Luffy maybe, or in Yellow Luffy does get some support in EB03, so this is a great card to pick up. I also have the alt art on this list. I have 4 of these already. I picked them up. I'll go back to like a year ago when they were, I can't even go back that far. I think they were like 15 bucks when I picked them up. Really good price to pick them up at that point, but you might not want to miss out. You might think they'll go down. Let me know what you think in the comments, just because I am curious about what other people think about my recommendations. I think this Robin and the 8-cost Kid might be a pretty good pickup. After that is another Nami card. This is a card that I think is going to be great in the Heroines Cup. Is this Jozu, either for Boa or for Nami, because there's going to be no Emu, which means removal is going to be really strong, and Nami has access to cards like Girl, where it's like really cheap to bounce back, or like Hiyori, or whatever Nami's sister's name is. I can't believe I forget. Nojiko. Nojiko can bounce back a 5-cost, so you can play a Nojiko, then play a Jozu, and then play another Nojiko and bounce back 2 5s and a 6-cost. Really strong way to clear your opponent's board and kind of starve them out a little bit. And it develops you a 6-cost 7k body, which is going to be really strong in the Heroines Cup. So pretty good cards to pick up if you're looking for that. I don't think there are any Jozu alt arts, so for $2 you're getting kind of the best thing you can for your Nami deck. After that is the Bandai Card Fest cards. Now this Onami CS promo card is going to be dropping currently. I believe they were $170 a little while ago. Right now they're sitting at around $130 because everyone's looking to sell their cards right now because they pulled a bunch of them and they're looking to pay for their Bandai Card Fest trip. So right now is a great time to pick them up because the market's pretty flooded. I actually managed to get an art set of all of the CS cards thanks to Vampire, who is really nice. I had a very nice brief interaction with him during Bandai Card Fest. But yeah, now's a great time to pick up these CS promos because I don't think they're going to be released like the previous ones were in a New Year's event, but we'll have to see. Definitely right now pick them up if you think they're going to just keep going up after this. But if you do think they're going to be re-released, it might be a good idea to hold off on them and see about that. A great card to pick up right now because it has dropped so hard. It used to be $200 before the event and is now sitting at a nice $81 for the lowest listed, and that looks like about what is consistently on the board. Is this Afro Luffy promo from Bandai Card Fest, because everyone who went to Bandai Card Fest got one, not just competitors. So it's a great card to pick up if you're looking to commemorate that or just get a piece of history for the One Piece card game. Competitive wise in Nationals, this Vergo is a card you might want to pick up. I'm surprised they haven't spiked already. Second place, and the person who is going to Nationals to represent NA was playing Purple Doflamingo. So Vergo is a card you might want to think about picking up if you are looking to alt out a really strong deck. Because Vergo protects your board and helps clear your opponent's board, it is a really solid body, and at a 5-cost 7k, definitely worth picking up. Really nice alt. Similarly to that is the 10-cost Doflamingo. I know some decks don't run as many, so this might be a good pickup if you are looking for a set of alts for your deck, because some decks I think run like a 2 of, a 3 of, some do run a 4 of, I believe, but it is a solid card to maybe think about getting just because it got second place and is a really strong deck. Maybe it gets more support in the future that helps it scale even better into the future sets. So if you are liking the Doflamingo, Purple Doflamingo package, these are 2 that I would definitely look out at getting. After that is this Jinbei leader. Jinbei did make it into the top 32, and I actually lost to Bubby, the person playing it. Really talented player. I could not do anything when I was facing them. It was a really rough matchup. I was playing Foxy, which does struggle historically into Jinbei, especially on that mid-range build that just bounces everything back to the person's hand. But yeah, at $25 probably for the alt art leader, this is definitely a card you'll want to pick up, especially if you don't have it already, as it might be spiking in the near future. I'll look at the most recent sales, and it does look like it's been selling pretty consistently around 24. If you're looking for just one to play, there's a damaged foil one listed right now. Maybe it's still up by the time this video goes up. Definitely check it out. But these are all the Bandai Card Fest cards. After this are the starter deck cards. Recently it was announced that some starter decks are getting released. I don't have the list. I'll put it up on screen right now, but here are some cards cards that I think are going to be really good for the decks that are coming out. I know Katakuri, the purple Katakuri, is going to be one of them, and this is a great card to pick up. I believe when I actually picked some of them up, they were sitting at around $40. They've been sitting, yeah, I bought one at like $40, and then I pulled another one, and right now they're sitting at around $27. I would not want to miss out on the chance to pick up more, especially if purple Katakuri gets really strong in the meta that forms when the purple Katakuri starter deck comes out. You can see right now it's just around $28, some pushing into the 30 range as you get to lowest verified listed, but definitely worth picking up. It's also very relevant as a purple staple right now, so think about picking it up if you are looking to play Katakuri in the future. After that is this Tashigi, because I believe Zoro is getting a starter deck, and even if he isn't, at 17 bucks for an LP card, that's pretty good, especially for such an amazing art. There is another alt art of this Tashigi card in the store Treasure Cup version of it, but that's going to be a whole lot more, and I honestly like this art a lot more. This is a really strong card, a 5 cost 7k that gives your leader 3 Don and then rests a 6 or less. Definitely would pick it up if you're looking to play Zoro. I actually might just pick up this one right now because Zoro's pretty fun, and it's a turn your brain off and kind of just swing deck, which is a lot like Yamato some of the time, so definitely worth picking up if you're looking to play Zoro. Next up is Kuzan, because Kuzan is also getting a starter deck, allegedly. I don't think anything has been deconfirmed yet, and I think it's pretty likely to be yes, but in the same price range as this Tashigi is this Kuzan, a really solid art and a staple in that deck because it is technically a 7 cost on the field, making it not able to be bounced back by Jozu or removed very easily, and it does freeze one of your opponent's characters. So I definitely think this is a good card to add to the list if you are picking up a bunch of things for possible FOMO. Maybe you're just trying to avoid some spikes, but it is a really strong card in my opinion, and probably a staple for that deck. There are some other cards that you might want to grab, like the Garps, definitely worth picking up if you are looking to play Kuzan. After that is Basil. This is the only alt art for him. It is a really cheap one, sitting around $15 if you're counting shipping, and I believe Yellow Kid is one of the other leaders getting a starter deck, and even if you're not playing Yellow Kid, this is a really reasonable price. I believe in my PRB2 video, maybe it was a PRB2 video I did in the past, I said I would absolutely pick this up when it's at $15, and I think I need 2 more, so after this video I'll definitely be grabbing 2 more. But it is such a cool art. It is a yellow staple for aggro, in yellow at least. I run it in my Yamato list. It's definitely worth picking up even if you're not going to play Yellow Kid and you play yellow, just because it is such a strong yellow card that on KO makes it basically stick to the board forever. And at a 4 cost 5k body, it's not too bad of a body to just include, especially if you are facing a ton of 4 life 5k leaders. After that is another Katakuri card, this 9 cost Linlin. I think it's honestly a really solid card. I think purple Katakuri is going to get some effect that might synergize really well with this leader. Even in the current meta, it's really strong in purple Katakuri just because it lets you heal a card and prevent your opponent from having a 6 cost body. Typically you'll put a brick into life at the bottom so that you can count on your opponent not having something good. So it's definitely worth picking up in my opinion, especially at $8. That's a pretty cheap $32 playset of alts, although you might have to wait a little bit just because $10 seems to be the consensus from the market, but even at $40 for a playset, that's not too bad. Next up is this Law reprint because of the Yellow Kid, again at $2, especially if you can find some with free shipping, maybe $5 for 2. This is going to be a really good card, especially with EB03 coming out as well, and the Rosinante deck possibly running this in the EB03 version of the list because it lets you heal. Really strong. Play this out for 5. A 5 cost 9k is pretty OP, right? I really like the card. I don't run it in my current Rosinante list, but that might change with EB03 depending on how the meta shifts. So definitely think about picking up this. There are some alt arts out there. There's a manga. If you pick up the manga, like I said, please use that affiliate link. It really does help me out. But for $2 for a secret rare, definitely worth picking up, especially because it might go up in the future because of this Yellow Kid list. To wrap up everything is this Luffy. Now this is not specifically because we are getting a red Luffy starter deck. It's actually because I think this red Luffy starter deck that is coming out might give Rayleigh some nice support. I know there are a few cards in Rayleigh that already move around Don, and adding more of that to Rayleigh is going to be really strong, I think. So the red starter deck, Luffy starter deck that is re-releasing technically, might give some really nice support to Rayleigh. Anyways, that's kind of the end of the video. wrapping it back up on these EB03 prices, it's pretty insane. Sorting high to low, these SPs are just killing me. I really want the Nico Robin SP. The Trafalgar Law SEC being at 65 bucks is really rough, though we have another week, and then honestly after that I'll wait another week probably before picking up my cards for EB03, maybe even more after that depending on how the market moves. But I'm definitely happy that some of these other cards are looking pretty cheap. Definitely think about picking them up. Use that affiliate link down below please if you do. It really does help me out. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did like this video, please consider giving it a like. Leaving me a comment really helps with the algorithm. Hitting that subscribe button really helps me grow. I really do appreciate the growth I've seen. I'm doing great. The channel's doing great, so thank you so much for that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.